Our latest rapper, his name is Lil TJay, right? And why should I tell you? I'm gonna just let you see for yourself.
Arrested rapper Lil TJay in the Bronx for gun possession. Officials say several loaded guns were taken from two vehicles during a traffic stop on 183rd Street and Ryer Avenue around 4 o'clock. This happened yesterday afternoon. 4 people were taken into custody, including Lil TJay. Charges against the 21-year-old rapper are pending this morning, and the arrest comes just months after he was shot several times during an attempted robbery. This happened at a shopping plaza out in Edgewater, New Jersey.
Think about this, y'all. Let's put this in perspective. Y'all. So you have a rapper who's relatively successful, at the very least has a strong following and the ability to be able to provide for himself and monetize what it is that he loves and does for a living, right? And the reason why I chose this story over all other stories, because I got a really, really great week lined up for you guys. And I'm going to be breaking down Andrew Tate tomorrow because I know that almost all of his vehicles were seized over in Romania and things like that. And so we're gonna break that down tomorrow. But the reason why I chose this particular story today is because I want to encourage you guys. And some of you may know him, some of you may not, right? I'm sure your kids do know who Lil TJay is, right? But all too often in 2022, what I seen happening amongst entertainers, rappers, CJ So Cool just got his crib ran into and he got shot 4 times. Thank God he's still alive, right? He got over 9 million subscribers on YouTube and wildly successful. And I've learned a lot from him that I've personally implemented that has helped me significantly when it comes to content creation, right? All too often in 2022 and 2021 and 2020 and before, the common theme that I seen on a regular basis was rappers getting killed. You didn't see it amongst country singers. You didn't see it in pop singers. You didn't see it in folk. You didn't see it in anywhere. R&B, nothing. The only place that you can go from an entertainment perspective to ensure that you're going to find somebody dying as a result of them continuing to live a life that they're not supposed to be in the first place is hip hop, the hood, rap, the streets, right? Think about this for a minute. I had this conversation about MLK yesterday, and then I dropped a clip for y'all this morning. Think about this for a minute. The only environment in which we can exist to where you can become successful and still be a target is within black culture. Is in black culture. The man just literally came from getting shot. Just got out the hospital, been arrested before, on the set of a video shoot, and then he's getting arrested again for possession of guns. Yo, listen, we just did another show yesterday where Darius Miles from the University of Alabama, the basketball team, just got arrested for capital murder. Capital murder. He's on a basketball scholarship. He's kicked off the team, facing life in prison, and we can't leave the streets. What do I have to do in order to convince you to remove yourself from the environments that's not conducive for you? How can we get rid of this cancerous culture or the cancerous part of the culture? Because a lot of times in order to save the body, you got to cut the cancer out. How can I convince you? And I'm talking to you specifically. I'm not talking about Lil TJay, because let's be clear. These rappers and these people that's a part of the culture and that's living his life. French Montana, he was on a set up at the Lickin' down in Miami. And shots start ringing out. 10 people got shot up. How can I convince you to divest yourself from this culture that has nothing but death, dying, pain, suffering, loss, and heartache from your life? How can I reverse engineer how your mind thinks when it comes to what keeping it real really is? I'm an advocate for nerds. I'm an advocate for bag chasing. legally. I'm an advocate for doing the thing that's best for us. I'm an advocate for making sure that we don't find ourselves in a situation where you're getting divorced. I'm an advocate for making sure that you level up in corporate America. I'm an advocate for school and education. I'm an advocate for pouring back into people when they want to go in a direction that you're going in. That's why we got the Patreon. I show up and I make sure that every environment that I come to, as far as meeting you in person for our Patreon meetups on a monthly basis, shout out to everybody that showed out to the sold out thing in Miami, creating an environment that's nothing but love, no fighting, no issues, no going back and forth, no smoke, no hoods, no none of that. I try to show you a better way. I live my life like an open book so that you can have an example as to how it is that we're supposed to do it in the first place. How can I convince you you're going to have to leave that residue behind? You know, I was talking to Charleston White, right? And one of the things about Charleston is that when I would bring him to Detroit, and he's regularly coming to Detroit and we always record, when I bring Charleston to Detroit, a lot of times when I first started bringing him, right, he like, yo, Ton, I'm not used to this, bro. He literally would say that to me, like, because we talk on the phone on a regular basis. We talk, we text, we kick it. When he's here, we don't just come in and record. We literally hang out on a regular basis. We at the games. We at the latest event. We go up and down. I'm not going to tell y'all everywhere we go. We go shopping. We do our thing. And he said, Ton, I'm not used to this, bro. And I said, used to what? He said, I'm not even used to staying in these type of hotels yet. Now I've hopefully changed his standards and expectations as to how it is that he's supposed to be treated, so that now he requires a different type of courting from the people that he do business with. Because when you raise your standards and you elevate above a certain level and you require a different thing because you've worked yourself into that position, then you get more. You expect more. They can't just put you in a rinky-dink hotel. But until you're exposed to it, which is one of the reasons why I tell people all the time, listen, you just need to book a first-class flight one time in your life. I know it costs a lot. I know you used to riding that $98 flight back and forth on Spirit, making sure that you then pay a whole bunch of money in order to get your luggage together. You can't get through every single chick that's on the plane, got a BBL next to you and all of that other type of stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Spirit, because I will catch a Spirit flight in a minute if it aligns with my schedule and it's the thing that I need to do. I took a Spirit flight from Tampa over into Miami. It was only a 40-minute flight, but I will catch a Spirit flight in a minute. But my point is that that's doing what you have to do in order to get what you got to get. I'm talking about your expectations based off of being exposed to a completely different lifestyle. It's different up here. It's different up here. And so you book that flight one time. I guarantee you it will change the way that you look at flying. You ride in a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Lambo truck, a Porsche, a Benz. One time, it'll change your perspective and your expectations for your own life. The goal is to motivate you and expose you to what other people call their norm. It's nothing for me to get in my car, and I don't even look at it as anything. And I'm not saying that you need these things in order to substantiate who you are as a person, but what I'm saying is that you should expect more for yourself, because there is better for you. You don't have to live like a pauper in order to be able to get into heaven. You don't have to be poor in order to substantiate your life as a good person and have good character. You don't have to be begging your whole life and living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, only making $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90,000 a year. Listen to what I'm saying. You can make more than $100,000 a year. The goal shouldn't be $100,000. The goal should be at least $250,000 within the next 3 years, and then $500,000 over the next 5 years. You may not hit it, but my point is that working towards something and then exposing yourself to a crowd and an environment where this is the norm then enables you to be able to get the tools that you need in order to be successful. You can have a better life. I don't look at money the same way that you look at money, and this ain't no stunt. This is telling you that the things that my father exposed me to, and he wasn't even exposed to it himself, but the things that my father exposed me to early in life, he made the sacrifice. He didn't buy the new car. He sent me to a private school that then exposed me to a different type of lifestyle, and it unlocked something within me. It unlocked something within me. And I'm still unlocking myself and making adjustments, because that type of money that you think means something doesn't mean that I'm stunting on you. It means that I raised my expectations, which I then worked differently in order to get a different thing, a different outcome. I'm going to read the super chats in a minute. I appreciate y'all for holding me down. All I'm saying is that there is another level out there that is better than the hood that you come from. You don't have to sit here riding around with guns, getting arrested. You don't have to ride in the back of the plane by the shit and the stinky toilets. You don't have to ride that beater car with no plates on it and always got the temp tags on it and trying to figure out how you can get some insurance so you can renew your tags every year. You ain't got to live like that. Your daughter, your son can go to different schools and they can actually have their college funded and paid for so that they're not taking on the generational curses that our parents before us is trying to hand down to us so that we can have to beg the federal government for us for a loan. You don't have to care about whether or not they're giving out stimulus checks, because that don't mean anything to you. You should be a lender, not a borrower. You should be a person that's helping, not looking for assistance. You don't always have to have your hand out to get. You can have your hand out to give. You can be a person that is in a position of power, but the first thing that we have to do is we have to change our perspective as to how it is that we see life, because our expectations are so low that we only shooting for the ceiling when it's a whole sky out there. You can step outside and you can fly as high as you want. There is no limit to what it is that you or your children or your spouse or anybody that's around you can have. But you first got to step outside of this little box and this little room that you continue to look at the ceiling that's only 9 feet high. It's up to you. We don't have to be in the hood for our entire life. You can. People ask me, they said, Anton, why do you work so hard when you already there? What do you mean, why I work so hard? Because that's what men do. That's what great people do. We don't stop just because we met a threshold. We continue to kick down the door, and then we open it up for everybody else and try to unlock people as to how it is that they can be great themselves. You can do better. You don't have to have an arrest on your record in order to substantiate that you a real nigga. You don't. You don't have to bust down a whole bunch of chicks in order to substantiate that you a dude that can get some box. You can be married. You can be faithful. You can hold your family down. You can be a reflection of the thing that you want your daughter to marry. We have to change the narrative of what a standard is. It's not that goofy shit that we've been taught our whole lives. It's the thing that's actually going to make our families, our environments, and then our communities better. But we first got to get the beam out of our own eye and then be accountable for the fact that we was taught some bullshit by the people that was before us. But we can change that narrative for the people that come after us. I love you.